What's up, guys? Tambo here with your Week 6 core report. It's an exciting time to be a Run Pure Sports member as we parlay another big week of winning with the start of the NBA season. Here's a recap of last week. No sports were off limits for winners this past week. Relay 20 hit for $8K on the NASCAR slate. Brad Combe won $5K in an MLB playoff slate. Max Hankins gave a preview of what members can expect, shipping for $21,000 in NBA preseason. BigT had another big week, hitting for over $37,000 in CFB. For the NFL main slate, GK 2400 won over $10K on FanDuel, while our guy Lox shipped an NFL Live final seat. But the biggest wins came on Monday Night Football, when the top of the leaderboard was littered with RPS logos again. JSU led the way with his core plays featuring Captain Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert and Joshua Palmer in the flex. His winning lineup was topped off with Russell Wilson and Dustin Hopkins, as well as low-owned $200 Greg Dulcich, who was talked up big on our free Monday Night Football Showdown show by special guest Chris Rando.
He's fast. He runs like a 4.7 40, and he can actually play the slot. He gives very difficult matchup situations. He's fast. He's got hands. Don't be surprised tonight if maybe he's out there in the mix and, he gets, a few catches and, who knows what happens.
This is your weekly reminder to head on over to our YouTube page and hit subscribe to access all of our great free content. Our guy Johnny AirPods wasn't the only one repping RPS at the top, shipping for over $50K. Matt Attack Lax ran the same lineup twice, shipping for over $95,000. Phil Mike's Bra also shipped for $10,000, while Nuggets hit for $14,000. Now is the time to join us. Head on over to runpuresports.com and sign up for a membership today. Again, all sports are included for one price, and NBA starts this week. You won't want to miss out when our team gets hot during hoop season. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
Oh, and we're live, and our host just froze. So that's gonna do it, Lox. This show is already in shambles. We were in shambles pre-show, and now we're in shambles live on the air. Do we have Crain back?
Hey, he's back.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I'm sitting here. What could possibly go wrong at the start of the show? I hear the countdown. 8, 9, we're live. Oh shit. Okay, let's get started. And then I freeze. What's up, guys? How we doing? So, what's up? This is the first look over on Run Pure Sports. I'm Eric Crain. I am joined. We got half the crew here. Lox is here joining me, and also joining us, we got JSU. AP is MIA. We hope you're okay, AP. Lox, how was your week 6?
Week 6 is okay, man. Punched my first live final seat for the year for the NFL, so excited about that. And then to end the week, JSU hit a banger on the Showdown, so we always love seeing that. So good vibes here from Run Pure, a bunch of Run Pure at the top of the leaderboards as usual. So we're just going to keep it going into week 7.
Yes, sir. And we've got JSU just hit that big score, coming to us live from. Are you in a cave? Where are you?
No, this is my office. I'm actually at my gym. Got the call. AP's MIA. They needed someone to fill in. JSU swoops in and does it live from the dojo, the gym that I own. So just gonna bring good vibes. I don't have my AirPods. If people don't know, I left them at House Knee House, as I do normally. Tony jinxed me. He said I was gonna leave something, and he was right. I left something. I left my damn AirPods. So I was pissed. I had to buy a shitty pair as I was about to get on the plane. Those are the worst, by the way, when you got to buy something that you have 3 pairs of at the house.
Yeah.
But you can't get through a flight without listening to music or something, which I can't. I'll just go crazy. I can't sleep on planes. So yeah, that's what I had to do.
See, my superpower is being able to sleep on planes. I can't sleep. I can't sleep at night. If at night I have to take an Ambien and just lose my fucking mind to try and sleep. But on planes, I can go to sleep for 3 hours. Just sitting, head cocked. It's amazing. We all have our superpower. That one is mine. Your guy's superpower was shipping NFL Week 6, and I hope we're going to get a start for NFL Week 7 here because we got a little bit of a different slate. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, JSU is flying blind. All right, he has no prices in front of him. We are strictly in the mind of JSU right now, which I'm not going to lie is a terrifying place to be, but we're going to do our absolute best. But Lox, I'm going to start with you since JSU just has nothing. So if we're up top at quarterback this week, and this is the first look. This is our first look at the slate, which is always a lot of fun. You can start to form some opinions, start to kind of get a feel of what you think is going to happen. At the top at quarterback, we got Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert. All those guys priced within $800 of each other. Justin Herbert, of course. Did you guys have that touchdown bet?
No,
Justin Herbert. Yeah.
No,
I can't. Bet Wisconsin.
Yeah. The DraftKings boosted it. It was minus 800 to throw at least one touchdown, and they boosted it to plus 100. And obviously, he didn't throw a touchdown, so that
wasn't it like the first game in like 30 games he hasn't thrown at least one touchdown?
I think he had thrown a touchdown in like 36 of 37 games.
That's insane. That's insane.
Like DraftKings boost, like it's a horror show. But again, now he gets a match with Seattle, which I would think he's going to throw a touchdown pass this one. And of course, Lamar Jackson at home against Cleveland, Patrick Mahomes in a high total at San Fran. Not the best matchup. I don't care about the matchup that much with Patrick Mahomes. Lox, when you're looking up at quarterback, what do you see here?
Yeah, I like a couple of these high-end guys. I also like some value in the middle. Definitely be playing for Lamar Jackson this week. Probably Mahomes a little bit. Obviously, like you said, I don't like the matchup. San Francisco's D is good, but they do have some injuries. So, I mean, we saw Mariota kind of run all over them, which was kind of weird to see. But I'll still have some Mahomes. You can't not have him. Joe Burrow, we called it last week. He was going to have a bounce-back week. He had a good game. I wish I would have played him instead of Kyler Murray, to be honest with you. But couldn't get myself to do it because of that Seattle game. I thought it was going to be a lot higher scoring. Mid-range value, I mean, I just think it's kind of crazy to see Aaron Rodgers down at 6K against the Commanders. So maybe I'll throw him a little bit. But yeah, I'm mainly going to stick just like normal weeks. I'm going to stick in this high range for QB. Maybe dive down a little bit, but that's about where I'm at.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. He's sitting there at 6K against a bad Commanders team, and he's not even going to be the most popular play in this price range. That's going to be Derek Carr, who has the highest implied team total on the slate. He's $5,900. JSU, when you look at the quarterback position, you looking up, you looking down? What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, so I just got the schedule in front of me right now. I don't really have any pricing, but I have the schedule, so I kind of can base out. I don't have the exact pricing, but I would assume personally, I've been spending up a lot. I think what's interesting on this slate is we got some really good teams with really good, or two at least, really good quarterbacks on buys, right? You got Josh Allen on a buy. You got Jalen Hurts on a buy. So those two are completely out. You got Minnesota with Cousins and Stafford on the Rams, both on buys. So those are some pretty good offenses. Well, the Rams, not really. I'll throw them out. They're not that good. They're just like a two-man offense, really. But the rest are pretty good. So the way I look at it on this slate, I have been spending up, but Joe Burrow against Atlanta, that seems like something that people are definitely going to be interested in, especially after he just had, 36 fantasy points last week. I would assume people are going to be on him. Mariota on the other side of that game kind of looked good too. So he's someone, is he still in that 5K range, or is he?
Marcus Mariota is priced at, 5,500.
5,500. And he's always got the rushing upside. He is sometimes hit or miss, but I think overall he's a little bit better than people give him credit for, just as an overall quarterback. So I could see that game, both quarterbacks getting some love. You get Detroit against Dallas, and any team against Detroit, pretty much we want to target offense. So I would assume that Dak is possibly back this week.
Yeah, and it was kind of my next thing. Like, how ballsy are we going to be with Dak returning from injury? He's 6.7K, kind of priced in this no man's land. I guess he's 200 cheaper than Burrow. I don't know. They have the highest total on the slate.
The good thing, though, about a quarterback coming back from injury, it's not like any other position, right? Because they're not going to play the quarterback 20 snaps. of 60. You know what I mean? Like if Dak's in, he's playing. He's playing all of it, and you would assume they're actually going to want him to kind of get his feet wet and push the ball down the field a little. He hasn't played a game in a while. They're probably, especially against Detroit, where I think they could really do damage, obviously on the ground and through the air. I think they're going to let him kind of go out and be a little more aggressive against a team like Detroit, air it out a little bit, get him comfortable. Obviously, Cooper Rush had a lot of success too. So I think Dak coming back, he's going to want to be aggressive. He's going to want to show people he's still the quarterback, even though they went on a good run with Rush. And I know everyone kind of slowed down with it after the Eagles game, but let's be honest, the Eagles are quite possibly one of the 2 or 3 best teams in football right now, the way I look at it. So losing to the Eagles, to me, with Cooper Rush, there's no shame in that. I mean, they even made it, honestly, they came back and made it respectable in that second half, right? In the first half, we all thought, this isn't good, right? He's struggling.
As somebody who had Philly -7, I was not thrilled that they made that comeback.
Yeah, and I had the opposite. I had the Cowboys +6.5. So I was praying for the Maher field goal at the very end, the 60.
Oh, that was I never hedged, and I hedged before that kick. I was like, I just can't take it. It
was smart, definitely. Yeah. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Like I'm probably going to end up on some Dak just because. But again, Detroit, do you trust them to move the ball against Dallas on the road? Yeah. That's my struggle. You do. Okay, so you trust that. Why do you like Jared Goff? On the road?
I don't like Jared Goff. I just you get Amon-Ra St. Brown there. DeAndre Swift looks to be fully healthy. Like, I think this Dallas defense is a little overrated. And plus you're playing in the dome. Like, I actually do think Detroit can move the football here. Lox, I saw you kind of shaking your head no.
You said Dallas is overrated defensively?
I think their defense is a little overrated.
Oh, God. Lox, you can take it over, bud.
Oh, no, Chancey's leaving.
I need a timeout. I need to go.
You're filling in, buddy. You can do what you want.
Woo. Go for it, Lox. Take that one over. I can't go with that.
Crap, I'm on mute. Sorry. Here,
this is the biggest disaster of a show.
Just disaster.
That's all right. At least it's staying steady, right? We're keeping it consistent. Okay, that's what you want.
We're rolling with the punches here.
Oh, that's awesome. No, I'm with JSU. So that's what I was saying. I do not think Dallas's D is overrated at all. Amon-Ra's back, Swift is healthy, but I don't like Jared Goff. So I'm going to be fully off the Lions, probably, other than maybe sprinkling in St. Brown and Swift, but there's no chance I see them scoring more than 20 points.
Does that mean you're off of Dak too if you don't think Detroit can keep it close?
No, I'll be playing a little bit of Dak.
All right.
I think Dak can still get there at that price. You guys said he's like mid-6Ks.
Yeah, 67. Still
get there. It stinks because normally you would want to kind of have Crane's take to like the quarterback on the other side, right? Like normally in these situations, you would want to think Detroit could put up more than 20 points in order to play quarterback on a lot of slates. The way I look at though, with some of these quarterbacks that aren't on like the main slate, I think Dak is just someone priced to where I don't need that like crazy back and forth for him to get there at that price tag is the way I look at it. But it's probably better playing Dak if you view the game more like Crane. I can't say that Dallas's D is overrated because I just think that's wrong. I think Micah Parsons might be the best player in football. And he's on that team. So I can't say that. Like, it's like the Steelers without TJ Watt, their defense don't look as good. But with TJ Watt, they made Joe Burrow and company look really bad. Like TJ Watt's one of those top defensive guys that he just makes everyone around them so much better because the defense has to account for him and they have to have 2 or 3 guys worrying about him every time they snap the ball. And that's Micah Parsons. When he is lined up, teams are accounting wherever he is on the field and they are putting 2, sometimes 3. I remember 3 weeks ago, I can't remember the team, but teams were chipping him with backs into a double team of a tackle and a guard, and he was just going through the tackle and the guard to get to the quarterback, literally just bull rushing them right through that. So they were putting 3 people designated to help on him. Think about that. That's insane. And he was still able to get to the quarterback. We don't see that in the National Football League, where guys are triple teamed rushing the quarterback.
I'll tell you what, there are a lot of just decent quarterback plays this week. Like they're really, I mean, we talked about the expensive guys. You've got Dak there. Brady, nobody's going to go back to, but he plays Carolina. I mean, it can't be that bad of a spot. If you think Russ is healthy and you really want to roll the dice, Russ at 6,200 against the Jets. Okay, everybody's laughing. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to running back. Hey, this is the first look show. That's what we do. We take a look.
You can't play Russ.
I'm not playing Russ. I'm just saying he looked a little interesting.
What are the Jets in that spread? Is that spread close? Is it like 3,
the
4?
Jets are here. Let me pull it up real quick. Let's see who can get their first locks. This is okay. Oh wow, look at that total. Never mind. I'm not playing Russ. Here,
Yeah,
you want to guess?
No way
you want to guess the
total,
JSU?
38.5.
39.5.
Oh God.
So you were wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm not messing with that one. All right, let's talk some running backs. Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler, obviously at the top. Derrick Henry against Indianapolis, I don't mind. Locks, I'll kick it off with you, man. This upper range, we've been fading the upper range of running backs a lot this season. It's been working out. What are you looking at with this upper range of running backs?
Yeah, I like what we saw out of CMC with PJ Walker at quarterback. I mean, the guy just was a target monster, rushed. I think he had 80-some yards rushing as well. Still scored 22 points or something like that and didn't even get in the box. So, I mean, I think we're just going to continue to see him get more work. Obviously, Baker sucks, but at least PJ Walker can get him the ball, and I think they're trending that direction. So I could see a big game out of him against Tampa. Eckler obviously is in a great spot against Seattle again. The guy's just crushed the last 3 weeks. I think he continues that against a terrible Seattle defense. And then I'm kind of off, to be honest, Henry and JT up top, kind of decent defenses. I might be on JT a little more than Henry, but I think the Colts run D is decent. But I don't know. I'm going to stick kind of in this high range, but there's also value that's still there from injuries. So where are you guys kind of leaning? I haven't really dove in. Obviously, it's the first time I looked. It's called the First Look Show for a reason. You said you just opened it too, Crain. So where are you kind of leaning?
Yeah, I mean, I think Leonard Fournette at Carolina is perfectly reasonable at 7,700. Saquon, of course, 7,900. I'm guessing Saquon will be chalk again. Just because he gets a Jacksonville team that just can't stop anybody. Chubb is not somebody I'll probably play. If he gets bailed out on touchdowns again, so be it. But at Baltimore, it's not really a match if I want to play Nick Chubb in. JSU, when you look at these running backs, what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the schedule, so no idea on price. But I can tell you right now, I am pretty confident that I do not like JT. I can't play the Colts running backs when they're that expensive because the line to me is still a worry. I think Tennessee up front at least is a little more stout too than people maybe give them credit for. And I think the Colts, like Locke said, have a decent run D as well. So I'm probably not going to be on those guys. CMC against Tampa. No, maybe Lenny on the other side because I think Tampa, I just don't think Carolina, I don't think Carolina's going to score. I really don't. Not that I think Tampa's very good. I don't like Carolina and what's going on there. Guys are quitting, getting traded, that they're down. Obviously, PJ Walker, I'm not really sold on him. So I just don't see where points are coming unless the defense, it's like a defensive battle. You know what I mean? And maybe the way Tampa's been moving the football recently, maybe it is. Maybe it's another Steelers game, Steelers-Tampa Bay game, kind of like that. That's the way I would have to see it for Carolina to have a chance. But I'm probably not on there. I think the running back spots that I just see as almost locks, depending on the price, is Seattle against the Chargers. And I think both running backs are going to be close to locks for me. I think Kenneth Walker on one side and Austin Eckler on the other. These are prime spots. This was one thing I was really worried about when it came to Denver in that game they couldn't run the football at all against a Chargers team that got killed the week before. And I know it was against the Browns, but the Chargers defense cannot stop the run. They're not very good at it. And Kenneth Walker is super talented. So I like both running backs on that side. And then I see Josh Jacobs and Pierce. Again, another game, Houston against Vegas. I think both running backs there are viable, but I definitely like Jacobs a little bit more. That's the way I see the running back pool. I think you can play Breece Hall every week now. He's becoming like an actual thing where Michael Carter, he's still playing, but Breece Hall's the guy. He's making all the plays. Denver's good against the pass too, so I expect a healthy dose of running the football from the Jets. Obviously it's a first look. It's early in the week, but those are kind of the things I'm seeing that stick out to me from a running back position.
So it's kind of been a running joke on my shows that I keep bringing up Travis Etienne, and I'm going to do it again this week because he's $5,400. He's right on the verge of being their RB1 for Jacksonville. They're home favorites against the Giants, who aren't good. Etienne, he was down at the 1 twice last week. Had he gotten in just once, he'd be all kinds of chalk on this slate at this price because there's not a lot of value running backs on this slate. Etienne, by the way, averaging nearly 8 yards per carry over the last 2 weeks. Not that I care that much about that stat, but that's impressive. He catches passes. He does everything. Like, I'm telling you guys, Etienne, for his price, he hasn't gotten there for a tournament winning score, but he's still scoring over 12 each of the last 2 games. And I'm going to keep firing on Etienne. Like, it's coming. The 30-point blow up is absolutely coming. He was close to hitting the bonus last week. Like, it's just, there's a lot going on. Lots, when I look at these value running backs, I mean, it's tough. Brian Robinson, he's the lead back for Washington, but do you really want to mess with that backfield? I don't. I mean, Tony Pollard, maybe at 5,700. You get Jeff Wilson there, Kenneth Walker, as JSU brought up. Not a lot of value to love here at the running back position.
Yeah, I agree. And I was actually, as JSU was talking, I was looking at some of those games and it took the words right out of my mouth on Jacobs and Pierce. I think those two are going to be studs this week at 6'4" and 6'5", I think they are. And then I like your ETN call too. I mean, I think he finds his first touchdown this week. He got close last week. Definitely a guy I can see playing this week. Breece Hall, again, great play. I had him last week as well. My early game started out last week. I had Chase and Andrews in my freaking core, and then I had Breece Hall. So I was sitting pretty with the Arizona-Seattle game left. And I'm just like,
okay, wait. You don't get to win a live final seat and talk about running back.
What?
You're like, I would have won all this money. No, you don't get to hit the live final seat and talk about running back.
I thought you were going to say you don't get to talk about how much more money you won when you hit a live final seat.
Yeah, that too. But I was angry, man. I had Walker down there, so I'm gonna have Walker again. It sucked because those 3 guys went off in the early games, and I'm thinking I'm gonna roast it, and I didn't. But it happens. It's DFS, right? I still won the live final, so I can't complain too much. But we always complain, right? We didn't win enough. Why can't I complain?
I would like to win more, Locks. I'm fine with that.
Everybody wants to win more, Crane.
Hey, nothing wrong with that at all. All right, I'm sorry. My apologies. All right, let's talk some wide receivers because, hey, guys, before I forget, I got to tell you guys a couple things. One, click the like button, click the subscribe button. It helps us out over here on Run Pure Sports. If you're enjoying this free content, we would really appreciate it. And also, if you're not a member, you need to check us out because we got a lot of stuff going on. And right now it's NBA season, okay? And I'm going to tell you guys, there's not a better NBA team out there than Run Pure Sports. JS, didn't you win a little at NBA yesterday?
Yeah, I was up a lot after those first games, and for a lot of the night, I was sitting pretty. I didn't have as much LeBron though. I think was the problem. Okay. I got pushed aside. Our guy BigT won a good bit though. I think he won like 40K in NBA last night. I think he had LeBron. I think that was the one problem, but at the same time, it was a good first night. I saw some members, winning some money too, which was always nice to see. And I mean, I think, our team is definitely one of the stronger NBA teams for sure. It's my favorite sport. It's the sport that I feel is my best sport. If you want to check us out, me and Big T up to lock today. with Holden at 6 p.m. Eastern time for all the members. And if you're not a subscriber, you can obviously become one. You can check that show out. We go all the way up to lock. So any news breaks or anything, we're there just kind of reacting to it, talking the slate. And it's a big slate tonight. So should be a good show. I think the free show's at 4:45 Eastern time for NBA today. I don't know exactly who's on it.
I'll be on that one.
Locks is on that one.
All right.
Me,
So
Title, and DC.
there you go. So that's 4:45 Eastern time on this YouTube channel. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure at least you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get the notification when they go live. But I would definitely recommend, if you're into NBA, you play NBA every day. the RPS definitely has one of the top NBA teams out there. I'll just say that.
Yeah, and look, like the price is worth just being in the Discord. Like the Discord is as important as it gets with NBA because we get so many late news, late scratches, late this guy's only going to play 20 minutes, late starting news. Like it's just, there's so much, and it's so difficult and honestly impossible to keep track of on your own. It takes a village in a lot of cases, and this is one of those cases where you check out that Run Pure Sports Discord. I'll be hanging out there in the NBA streets. I'm not playing as much NBA this year. I'm taking a little step back from NBA. I'm focusing on what I'm better at. That's all right.
There you
But
go.
one of the nice things about that is I get to spend my time hanging out in the NBA Discord saying, all right, who does Big T like? Who does JSU like? Who does Locks like? DC, I just ignore. But that's just how we go. So yeah, hanging out in that Discord. I'll be there. We'll be winning some NBA giblets, as the kids say, this year. All right, wide receiver. If you're spinning up, yeah, we like Devontae Adams. High total game. 8,700 gets all the work. Jamar Chase, same thing. We like a lot of these guys. Locks, I'll start it off with you. If you're spinning up at wide receiver, we don't have the names that we're used to seeing up there, so it's a little bit strange. What do you like at the wide receiver position?
Yeah, a little weird this week. There's not as many up there as you're used to seeing now that the buys are kicking in. So you can't just jam Cup and Jefferson and call it a day. But I definitely like Adams. I like Chase. The guy's just a stud. That touchdown he broke off towards the end of that game was just crazy. So I don't know how people stop him. Atlanta's D actually did look somewhat good, but I don't think they're good. So I'm going to play Chase this week. Pittman's interesting. Matt Ryan just hucks the ball, so who knows?
He threw like 52 times in the last game, right?
I know, it's nuts. So I don't know how you don't play his number one wideout. I mean, I think he had 29 fantasy points last week. He didn't get in the end zone, but he had 13 for 134. So I don't see how you get away from him at 7,400. Amon-Ra's back, so he's interesting against Dallas. I know Dallas's D I think's good, but Amon-Ra's he's crazy. He finds a way to get there every time he's out on the field, it seems like. So I don't know how you fade him. Up at the top range, that's kind of where I'm leaning. Is Keenan Allen playing? Do you guys know?
He's questionable right now.
Yeah, so if he plays, I like him against a terrible Seattle team, to be honest, as long as he's somewhat healthy, him and Mike Williams. I like playing both of them. I mean, Seattle's horrible. I just think Arizona is bad, and their offense is bad, so that's why they didn't score more. But Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, I could see going off against Seattle for sure.
Yeah, if Keenan Allen's out, like Mike Williams is going to be one of the top plays for me, just because I think people are going to be a little nervous to go back there after the dud last week, and then you get a matchup with Seattle. I mean, you talk about a bounce back spot. It doesn't get better than that. JSU, what do you think about this Chargers situation and Mike Williams if Keenan Allen's out?
Yeah, definitely think a bounce back spot. I do want to see ownership though, right? Like I definitely want to see what the ownership comes in on him at. So I'll be paying attention to that. I also like Austin Eckler a ton. So unless I'm just full stacking that game, which obviously it's early, so I don't know exactly where I'm targeting yet from a stack perspective. But I think he's definitely a good option, someone who could easily bounce back. The guy I'm kind of looking at though, and I think he'll be pretty sneaky just because this is a tournament show. And I know he hasn't really had like a ton of monster games to start.
Say the name.
I think the perfect matchup is this Deebo Samuel matchup.
Yes, that's what I was hoping you were going to say.
Because Kansas City, the way they play, they're just aggressive on defense, man. They make you beat them. And I'll tell you right now, with a guy like Deebo and a team like San Francisco, they like short. get the ball in their hands, and make them just make them break tackles and beat you. And no one's better at breaking tackles in the open field. And I feel like the aggressiveness of Kansas City could bite them in the ass here in this spot if they do that. And Deebo Samuel, we've seen him break like 7 tackles and go to the house. Like it could be a spot where it's just a quick pass, breaks one, and he's gone. I also think too, against Kansas City, he may be used more as a running back than we've seen early in the season. I think in this type of matchup where they definitely have the edge on the ground. We've seen multiple teams. I mean, the Bills were getting them for chunks early in that game. Jacobs was pounding them a couple weeks ago, running through people. So I think Deebo Samuel for fantasy, I think this is going to be like the breakout spot where he has his biggest game of the year. I really like him. And I don't know the ownership, but I don't think he's going to be maybe as popular. My only worry is it's Kansas City, so people target that game.
It can't be that popular. Like I just don't see a way people pay up for Deebo this week, and I love it. I was really hoping you started off, you like building it up a little bit. I'm like, say Deebo, come on, say his name, say Deebo, and then you said it for me, and like I was, oh, that is just beautiful because this is the spot. You know, if all the stuff JSU said about Kansas City staying aggressive, then also you just look at it from a game flow standpoint, where San Francisco is going to have to try and keep up with Kansas City, like. Look, and I know Brandon Ayuk had the big game last week. I'm not going to be chasing that for $6,000. This is a perfect Deebo spot, and I'm glad to hear you guys are on board.
Over? Like, what price is he? Is he $8K?
7,600.
3,600.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's like ahead of Pittman. He's got to be like close to Devontae, right? Like 8K.
He's
900 away.
1,100 cheaper than Devontae, 600 cheaper than Chase.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good spot to be. Yeah, he could end up being in no man's land, Crane. Honestly, yeah. he could end up.
Yep. Yeah, and like that's a phenomenal spot for Deebo. Yep, that's a phenomenal spot for Deebo. All right, let's talk some mid-range guys. It gets this. I'll tell you, Locks, we can tell the bye weeks are hitting us, can't we? Because you look at this mid-range and it's just like, oh, this gets depressing really quickly. Amari Cooper, I don't mind him against Baltimore. I think that secondary is vulnerable. Christian Kirk, I'm going to be playing so much ETN, I'm probably not going to have as much Kirk. But you look at this mid-range, Locks, what do you think?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, with these bye weeks, you look down here like, man, really? Am I looking at these names at 6,400, whatever we're at? I don't know. I could see maybe we see a bounce back game from DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett, one of the two. I could see playing them in my Chargers Seattle stacks. So I wouldn't mind one of those two. Lazard is interesting to me. Maybe him and Dobbs. I know Dobbs isn't really mid-range, but if I'm liking Rodgers at 6K, I kind of like that against the Washington Commanders, to be honest with you. Other than that, maybe Cooks in this range. I mean,
I had the same thought on old Brandon.
You know, he gets peppered with targets, and it's against the Raiders. The Raiders are bad. So I like Brandon Cooks in this range at 6K. I don't know. I'm not seeing much else in the mid-range, to be dead honest with you. I don't know.
Hey, JSC, here's a question for you. What price would DJ Moore have to be for you to consider him?
Under 4K.
Oh, okay. If you'd said 5K, I was going to have some news for you. But
no,
under 4K, I understand.
I can't trust that situation. And I don't know how people really – listen, if I get beat by DJ Moore, I'll get beat because he hasn't beaten me yet this year for the most part. So I just don't love to target guys in that situation. I get you're kind of looking at if Tampa puts up points, they're going to be playing from behind. Who knows, though? This could just be another sluggish game. Like Carolina's defense, they could just – Tampa hasn't looked good recently. You never know kind of how games play out, but I'm just not playing any wide receivers for Carolina right now. Don't trust PJ Walker. I want to wait on Keenan Allen too. He's another receiver. Like if he's in, this is a perfect spot for him. Just a chain mover. We saw kind of Josh Palmer have a big game on Monday, I think it was. And if Keenan Allen was out, I'd go back to Josh Palmer again for sure. Just in that mid range, I think Wan'Dale Robinson is going to be really good for the Giants. I liked him last week. I was worried about him with the snap count. I think this week he's a good play again. I think anyone kind of in that inside receiver position. I mean, the Giants have nobody. Literally, the fact that the Giants are doing what they're doing and have the record they do with Saquon Barkley being their entire offense and Daniel Jones kind of running a little bit and no receivers is insane. So, like, the Wan'Dale Robinson is definitely their most talented guy they have, and he's just going to get better as he gets more comfortable in there. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That's my one worry about him. He's a little guy. I do worry about him with injuries, but if he can stay healthy, I think he is going to be the number one guy there, at least from a stats perspective throughout the year.
Yeah, it's strange sitting here considering two Giants wide receivers, but I don't mind Wan'Dale and I don't mind Kadarius Toney at 4.3K either. Like, he's somebody that I'm going to have interest in as well.
God, he's another one. He can't stay on the field though, Craig.
That's the whole team, man. But hey, if he's going to play, like, maybe he'll stay on for one game.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
I like the Wan'Dale call.
Like, yep. Any other cheapies for you, Locks? Because it is bleak.
No, I'm good to go to tight end.
All right, well, then we'll just go to tight end. Last week I said to play Travis Kelce over Mark Andrews, and well, here I am back to work because that did not work out. Mark Andrews obviously outscored him. Kelce, though, another great spot. Andrews, another great spot. I got JSU. I'm going to start with you this time because I just want, like, from a roster construction standpoint, you get tight end is so weird because it's Kelce and it's Andrews, and they're very clearly going to be the top scorers on the slate or at the position on every single slate. Do you find yourself trying to pay up for them as often as possible, or is it just too difficult it's too difficult to play tight end roulette?
I think it's something that I get stubborn with sometimes, that I'm trying to break the habit of just playing some of, even if I take a stand and play one over the other, making sure that I have a good amount of those pay up options at tight end. So that's the way I kind of look at it. And that's the way I'm viewing it, obviously. But sorry, I got calls to me. Go to Locks real quick.
All right, Locks, what are you doing with the tight end? Are you find yourself paying up a lot?
Yeah, and I have been for the year. I mean, it depends on the week. I like paying up just because if you get 25 to 35 points from a tight end, you're not going to get that out of a cheap tight end. So yeah. It's so hard not to play Andrews and Kelce, but yeah, they're expensive. So it makes you have to find value elsewhere, which this week we don't like a whole lot of value at wide receiver. There's some value at running back. So yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, you got to find value somewhere. So maybe you got to find a little value this week. And the question is, where are you going to find it? I don't really see a reason to not play Kelce or Andrews this week. So I'm going to have to find value in the wide receiver and running back as we go along this week, I think. Maybe a little bit of Waller against Houston, but he hasn't shown anything really this year either.
Man, he's been bad.
I mean, he's been horrible. Your boy Pitts finally scored.
Yes, he did.
So,
yes, he did.
I mean, maybe
if I keep saying to play him every week, eventually he was going to score. That's how this works, right?
When he scored, you see my.
I'll play him this week too.
Yeah, and I could play him against Cincinnati, so I'm okay with maybe spending a down 4,300 for him. Robert Tonyan, you've seen have 10 targets. I mean, Aaron Rodgers loved the guy before he got hurt last year, and now he's just finally getting back to form. So I could see him finally getting in the end zone, possibly having another 7 to 10 catch day. So I don't mind spending 4,100 for him, but yeah, I'm going to mainly be on these top two guys. It's so hard to get off of them when you can get 25 to 30 points at the tight end position.
JSU, are your calls finished?
Yeah, they're finished.
Right.
So one of the things, I do think that DeLucci from Denver, I think he'll get worked in a little bit more this week. So I think if he's cheap, you can go right back to him. If you're spending down, like way down, I'm assuming he's pretty cheap. I want to know what's happening with Darren Waller. Was it last week when he had the issue and kind of 2 snaps in, just left and didn't come back? Was that last week? Can't remember exactly.
We're all starting to blend together.
I know what you're talking about because it killed me too.
I don't think
he
that
had
was
the
last week. I
hamstring
think that
injury,
was
right?
2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and is he
But
good?
JSU,
No, it had to have been last week. He didn't get any fantasy points.
they got Daltrich at 2.5K. So you're right. I'll be jamming him
Yeah.
in a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely someone that people should look at. I think for sure. Just trying to think of other spots just that could have something. I mean, we talked about Debo, but does Kittle finally have a game here? It's another type of game that could be a trailing script, and I think you want to play Kittle if you think that they're down. Now, I don't know if necessarily they play down the whole game. I actually think San Francisco is in a good spot to just win this game against Kansas City. I think it's a tougher spot for Kansas City. And I think San Francisco is a tougher matchup for them, just the way they play. But maybe Kittle's someone that can finally kind of break out a little bit. Donald Parham got a little more work. He looks really good to me too. The problem is they have multiple guys there. They play McKinney. They play Gerald Everett. But I do think Donald Parham, who was working back from an injury, I think they like him in the red zone. I think he's more of like a Millie Maker type play, but he's someone that I would put in my pool for sure. And those are the guys just off the top of my head, early look that I'm looking at. If I'm not spending all the way up for the studs, I think those are two good cheap options right there.
Yeah, you mentioned Kittle. He did see 10 targets last week. I mean, that's an encouraging.
It was a good
sign.
script, right?
Yeah.
Against Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta got up like it was a perfect script for him to see that.
Yeah, I don't want to like Kittle this week because in my mind I had already written him off for the season. I was just like, I'm just done with this guy. I don't
just
even
play
want to
Debo. Just play Debo. Craig.
Oh, I'm definitely playing Debo. Don't worry about that. He is going to be in that lineup. That's for sure. All right. We don't talk much many defenses here, but we'll go ahead and look at a few locks. Does any defense stand out to you early?
Not really. Maybe
Jets.
Tampa Bay.
How about the Jets at 2,600 against Denver?
Yeah, I can see the Jets' defenses look freaking good. That's a good call. And then you got Russell Wilson banged up. Absolutely. Why not? There's your value.
Yep. I think that's going to be the chalk one. Carolina at 2,200. I'm not sure I can get there though. Jacksonville 3,100 against the Giants. It seems reasonable. JSU, just checking out the schedule. What are you looking at?
Yeah, just looking at some of these games defensively. Defense just might be a spot where I just find a few cheap ones and try and spend down at defense because I'm not seeing any, even like the top. I'm not really seeing anyone that would be expensive that I really would have too much interest in. So I think I'm definitely going to find some. Is Carolina still really cheap?
Yeah, they're $2,200.
Yeah, see, like at home against Tampa, I think Brady could get ownership again, possibly. And if he does, maybe going against Sam. I went against Geno last week with the Cardinals D on my main team on FanDuel. I think that's very viable if you don't like a quarterback, or you're fading the ownership of a quarterback, taking the defense and getting a little more leverage on the fade and hoping it just completely busts and that defense goes out, I think is a good way to attack quarterback, especially if you don't like any of the top tier defenses, which kind of looking, I mean, I would assume Dallas is expensive, Crane.
Yeah, they're $4,000.
Yeah. See, I love Dallas's defense. I just think that's too much in tournaments to play. Atlanta's defense has actually been good. Like if they're cheap again, I think they're cheap. Yeah. See, I'm going to take stabs on those cheap defenses for sure. I'm not saying that they're going to be like, the top defense on the slate. I'm just thinking like, if I don't love the high price defenses, I'm just kind of take shots on some of the teams that maybe they're not as good, but maybe I can get some leverage on spots. I think Joey B is going to get ownership and I like them, but at the same time, 2,400, what does Atlanta have to do to get me there? They don't need much. So yeah, that's definitely how I'm going to attack this slate for sure.
All right. Any other defenses for you, Locks, that we didn't bring up? You're muted, buddy. We got it. His mute button just broke.
Here we go.
We
Got
had
me?
like such a good 15
You're
minutes
getting
there.
you're
Dang.
getting it all out before the NBA show.
Yeah.
Lots. You're getting it all out before the NBA show.
I just had to keep it going before we end. We had to end the show bad too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's how we roll.
right. On brand. We keep it on brand here.
That's right. It was a mess at the start, so we're messing it up to end it. No, I'm going to be spending down for sure. There's too many spend up spots in the rest of the slate. That defense, I'm going to find those defenses at the bottom. So I'm on the Jets. I'm on the Panthers. Yeah, I'm not spending up. I'm not spending 3,500 to $4,000 for a defense this week. Not happening.
The Jets is a
right,
good call. Denver's in shambles. Jets
Yeah,
is good.
I mean, both sides of that game. Denver's 3,100, so they're 500 more expensive. But both sides of that game, I will be playing the defenses for sure. All right, we got a lot more coming up on Run Pure Sports today. Lox, tell the people when they're going to see you.
Yeah, I'll be on at 4:45 Eastern on the first NBA show, free show today. So I think 11, 12 games, something like that. Get the NBA started out. Hopefully, pick you some winners.
All right, and JSU, you're going to be on after that.
I'll be on the Up the Lock with Big T and Holden, getting all the news and then breaking it down and figuring out core plays and all that stuff. We'll be talking the slate for about an hour all the way up to 7 o'clock. Lock.
All right, well, appreciate you guys joining us, Lox. It's always a pleasure to see you every week, JSU. Thanks for hopping in, buddy.
Anytime, boys.
All
Good
right,
show.
and AP, I'm sure you're out there somewhere, buddy. Stay safe. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.